Hey there, welcome to today's Explainer. I am so glad you're here. Look, as a junior designer, stepping up into these bigger, more complex projects, you're absolutely going to face tighter deadlines and, well, much higher expectations. So today, I'm going to walk you through a massive workflow shortcut. It is literally going to fundamentally change how you approach new projects. We're taking all the heavy lifting out of UI research by just automating the whole shebang. Okay, let's dive into this.
Seriously, I want you to really think about this for a second. How long does your manual competitive research actually take? Think about all those countless hours you've spent, and trust me, I have been there too, just endlessly digging across the internet for references to figure out the baseline for a minimum viable product. When a client asks for, say, a fitness app, your first instinct is to open your browser, track down similar apps, take a bunch of screenshots of their onboarding flows, and then try to reverse engineer what makes them tick. Honestly, it's a massive time sink. That old way is just full of friction. You search, you screenshot, you switch over to Figma, you paste, you organize, and then you repeat that process literally 50 times. It totally drains your creative energy before you've even actually started designing. But the new way, oh, it's a game changer. We prompt an AI and it automatically generates a fully organized Figma mood board for us. We're replacing hours of tedious data entry with just a few seconds of strategic prompting. So here's our lesson plan for today. We're going to quickly cover the UI research struggle, meet your secret weapon, the setup, automating the mood board, and finally, we'll wrap up with the critique. All right, section 1, the UI research struggle and dealing with manual UI analysis. Look, we all know that keeping an eye on what top-tier competitors are doing is completely essential. But doing it manually, that just eats up your actual design time. Your job is to solve user problems, not to be a professional copy-paster. Which brings us to our absolute industry standard tool, Mobin. Now, if you aren't familiar, Mobin is arguably the biggest collection of user interfaces on the entire internet. We're talking over 600,000 of the world's best UIs. It's got everything from Disney Plus to Tesla, right down to Duolingo. And the best part, it's not just isolated screens. They have complete, comprehensive user flows. The big takeaway here is that all the highest performing reference material is already gathered in one place. We just need a smarter, faster way to extract it. Moving on to section 2, meet your secret weapon. This is where we combine Claude Code and Mobin. We aren't just using Mobin the old manual way anymore. Instead, we're going to hook its massive database directly into our AI assistant. By merging these two incredible tools, we are basically turning Claude Code into a master designer and strategist. To pull this off, we use something called an MCP, which stands for Model Context Protocol. Simply put, it's the underlying system that allows an AI assistant, like Claude, to securely connect to external tools, databases, and platforms. Think of it as giving the AI an exclusive VIP all-access pass to read and pull data straight from Mobin servers. This is the exact bridge making your new superpowers possible. And what exactly are those superpowers? Well, once connected, Claude can instantly find specific UI patterns, like, say, fitness app onboarding flows. It can compare designs across a bunch of different apps, gather references automatically, and target specific platforms like iOS or web. Plus, you get inline previews right there in your chat. The AI is now doing the heavy lifting of gathering your inspiration for you. So how do we actually get this running? Let's jump into section 3, the setup. This is super quick and easy, and it brilliantly illustrates that, hey, you really don't need to be an engineer to make this stuff work. Here's the exact step-by-step connection process. First, you just open up Claude Code and head down to customization. From there, you navigate to your connectors, hit the plus icon, and select Add Custom Connector. You're going to name it Mobin, input the specific API URL, and then simply authenticate. Now, just a heads up, you do need a paid Mobin plan for that authentication to go through. But seriously, it is literally just 4 clicks. Just so you have it handy, the exact server URL you need to type in for step 3 is api.mobin.com/MCP. That right there is the magic key, unlocking Claude's brain and connecting it straight to Mobin's database. All right, now for the really fun parts. Section 4, automating the mood board for instant UI research. We're going to perform a little magic trick here and prompt Claude to instantly do our UI research for a hypothetical fitness app MVP. This prompt right here, this is your personal swipe file to bypass hours of manual labor. We're telling Claude directly, I'm working on a fitness app, generate me a Figma file with 10 different examples of different apps from Mobin and their initial sign-up screen.
make me a mood board. Notice how we're giving it really precise instructions on the industry, the exact screen type, and the desired output format. Let's run it and see how it builds out our workspace. But hold on, a quick mentor's pro tip for you before we run this. You need to make absolutely sure your Figma MCP is also connected. If it's not, Claude will just pull the images into your chat window, which, is fine. But if both are connected, Claude magically builds that mood board directly inside a live Figma canvas for you. It is an absolute game changer for your workflow. Which brings us perfectly to our final phase, Section 5, the critique. This is where you really level up your design skills. See, we aren't just using AI as a glorified fetcher for images, we're using it as a strategic design partner. It's actually going to tell us exactly why the downloaded designs it just gathered are working so well. To make that happen, we use a follow-up prompt. We simply ask Claude, can you tell me what seems to work best between all of these and why? We can even tell it to pull in non-fitness apps for some cross-industry inspiration. And then we command it to add this into Figma with your feedback of what works and what doesn't. By doing this, we are basically forcing Claude Code to think like a senior designer analyzing a competitive landscape. Now, what's really interesting here is the incredible depth of the analysis Claude generates. Just look at this breakdown. For Strava, it recognized that the app uses real people instead of illustrations, which instantly signals the app's strong community vibe, paired perfectly with a high-contrast orange call to action. Then for Gymshark, it picked up on the strong brand voice, a single confident black CTA. Basically, you click the button or you leave. And for Peloton, it highlighted the dark, cinematic photography paired with zero-friction social signage. This is high-level strategic UX breakdown, and it was done in seconds. From all that data, the AI summarized an overarching strategic lesson for us. The winning pattern across all these top apps is super clear. Show real people, not mascots, and aggressively reduce sign-up friction without letting the overall design feel cold or overly corporate. Normally, you'd spend hours synthesizing this exact kind of insight to present to a client. Now, it's just handed to you on a silver platter. Now, we execute. We feed that brilliant insight right back into the machine. We prompt, generate me our own concept for our own one now using these examples and our analysis. Use iPhone 16 frame. Claude takes its very own feedback and automatically generates a baseline wireframe using those proven, tried and tested layouts from the world's biggest apps. Sure, it's a rough mock-up right now, but it's an incredibly strong, data-backed starting point that you can now jump in and polish. And here is the kicker. You can turn this exact same critical eye on your very own work to level up. For instance, I recently fed a landing page design for a course right into this workflow. I asked Claude to compare the design against Mobin's premium landing pages, and wow, it delivered a brutally honest critique. It noted the aesthetic was good, but the layout and pacing were, quote, one tier below premium. It correctly spotted an undersized hero section and disconnected elements. It backed up every single critique with specific premium references directly from Mobin, and even offered to auto-generate side-by-side revisions. Having an objective, highly intelligent AI roaster designs is hands down one of the fastest ways to grow as a designer. So here is my final thought for you to take away today. You now possess the tools to automate hours of tedious research and layout structuring. The busy work? It's completely gone. The real question is, now that you have all this time back, what are you going to do with it? How will you use this extra capacity to push the boundaries of your craft and become a more strategic, AI-assisted designer? I want you to really think about it. Test out this workflow for yourself, and I'll see you in the next explainer.